Hey, this is Danny from Scare Talk. Before we get into all the horror greatness, I gotta let you know about Anchor. Anchor is the host site that we use to record our podcast. Anchor will upload your podcast to Apple and Spotify and many other listening platforms. Anchor is completely free, and you can download the app or go to the website, anchor.fm, and you can record straight on there. There's also some cool editing tools that you can use. Did I mention that it's free? Yeah, so if you want to make a podcast, Anchor is the way to go. Go check it out. Now, for the spooky stuff.
Welcome to Scare Talk, a horror movie podcast for horror fans. This podcast will cover horror movie reviews, ratings, and rankings. Now for your hosts, Danny and Joel.
Alright, this is Scare Talk. I am Danny, and Joel's not here again. He's quarantined to his home. And so I'm here with Katrina.
Hello.
And today we're going to talk about the 1999 film The Blair Witch Project. Can you tell us who's a part of this one?
Yes. So, we've got the actors and actresses playing themselves in this film. So, we've got Heather Donahue. She has not been in a whole lot of other films. Well, she's been in other ones, but not a whole lot of big ones. I've got down Taken that she's also been in, and some other not as well-known films.
And that's not the Taken, the Liam Neeson Taken.
No. Then we got Joshua Leonard, and he was in a more recent film, If I Stay. That was from 2014, and it's a little bit more well known. And Unsane.
Yeah.
And then Michael Williams. He was in Altered, and he also was in Law and Order.
Like an episode, I'm assuming?
Yeah.
He wasn't probably a regular.
No, he didn't become too...
Not a main character.
No, too big of a spot. And then the director and writers are the same. We've got Daniel Myrick. He also did the sequel and the remake.
Mm-hmm.
And then we've got Eduardo Sanchez, who directed one of your prized films, VHS 2.
Yes. There's many directors in those because there's different, the different segments. Mm-hmm. So he directed one of the segments, I'm assuming.
Okay.
Or maybe multiple. I don't know. So this is one of the first found footage type films. That this one kind of started that trend that went on for a while, still going on today, just not as popular. And the way this one was marketed was really cool. Do you remember back when it first came out?
I do remember when it first came out.
Okay.
And I remember the rumors, and I remember watching it and thinking that, well, I remember when we first watched it, we thought, like, it was still rumored that this was real. Mm-hmm. And I remember, of course, going in there cynically and like, no, this can't be real, no. And then like starting to think like, wait, is this? Like,
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I do remember seeing commercials for it, and even like on TV, the commercials were, as if it was real. Like it was just documentary that was found after these people disappeared, and for some reason it was coming to a theater. It's like, wow. It's so, that should kind of tip off the audience. This wouldn't be released in theaters.
Yeah.
But it was the way it was done and the way it was marketed, people were believing it.
Yeah.
From what I read, there were like posters, missing posters that were used as part of the marketing, and so it had like their pictures and stuff. And the website had different like news articles about missing people, and had people acting as if they were police, talking about the case that they were investigating, and the missing persons case. And so they really went all out to try to make this seem like it was real. And so I think that's pretty cool. I can't think of another movie that's tried to do that. And no. I think they were pretty successful at it. I remember people thinking it was real.
Oh, yeah. I remember, yeah. And I'm trying to remember if we, like, looked up more information. We may have gone on the website and stuff and seen that stuff. But I remember saying to people, like, no way they can put they can make this a movie.
Yeah.
And everything. But then it just seemed more and more convincing.
Yeah. Well, and back then it was like the beginning of the internet. Well, not the beginning of the internet, but people were starting to use the internet more.
Yeah.
More often. And so websites for movies were actually a thing. And so they were using that to their advantage. Mm-hmm. It wasn't like you could go online and source things or fact check stuff or anything like that. I mean, I'm sure you could, but people weren't into that then. And so they use that to create a website and make it look even more real. And from what I read at the Sundance Film Festival, when they would show it, they would interview people after and ask them if they recognized the people in the film and if they've seen them, and different things, like they were actually trying to find these people still. And this movie was almost like a way to hopefully find them. Mm-hmm. So it was kind of cool to learn about. So because I was only 12 when it came out, so I didn't know all that stuff. So did you see this in theaters?
I don't remember. I remember seeing it. I don't think so.
Okay. I remember looking forward to it and watching it. I was probably 13 when I watched it, and I remember just being really bored.
Oh.
And falling asleep. And I'd seen bits and pieces of it, but I'd never watched the entire movie until just now.
Oh, wow, yeah. Really? Oh, okay.
Never seen it all the way through from beginning to end. I've seen the ending numerous times because I knew how it ended. And then that whole scene with her like close-up face and her crying, and that's pretty famous.
Yeah.
But no, I haven't seen it all the way through. So.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm excited to hear what you thought. I remember watching it, but I don't remember being in a theater. But I remember watching it. I felt like it was when it first came out, so maybe it was in a theater.
Yeah.
But who knows?
Yeah. Who knows?
It was a long, long time ago.
Yeah, 1999.
Wait, how long ago?
21 years.
21 years.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did see the sequel. I did like the sequel, but that's a different podcast.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I haven't seen that, so I'll have to watch to be able to join in.
So what did you think of this one? You can go with positives.
Oh yeah.
To open it up.
So my positives with this one, I think this is the best film this way. Like, what do you call it?
The found footage.
Yeah, the found footage filming. I think this is probably the best one because, number one, the acting. It was so spot on. It never felt like they were acting.
Okay.
It never felt like it was fake and like, oh, you don't act like that. Like, it felt so real the whole time. The interactions with each other, the emotions, even the little like things that they say when they're filming, and why are you filming, and are you ready to go, like those kind of things. A lot of movies, it feels like they're acting. You feel like there's a script even when there's decent acting. It still doesn't feel
like for these types of movies. You're saying.
Yeah. This one, it is so real.
Yeah.
It felt so real, and that's why it started convincing you.
Yeah. It
So
did feel real.
yeah. So that's my biggest positive with this. I felt like it was a new story at the time. Like, it was something very unique and different. So I like that. I like that there wasn't a lot of, like, jump scares, like...
Yeah, there were none.
Yeah, nothing. Like, and even, like, when they heard something in the woods and stuff, it wasn't ridiculous, it was actually how they would hear it, know. And there was times where we're like, wait, I didn't hear anything, but it was because they weren't filming yet, and so it was like, that's what part of what made it so real. So those are my biggest positives. I liked the interviews at the beginning. I thought that was really clever, and even the people there, they just it really seemed like she was really doing a documentary, and they were so genuine, and everything.
I was wondering if those were real interviews, you know, like they were just random people from that area, and they were like, hey, let's talk to this person about it and use it in our movie. But the Blair Witch was a made up thing. They made that up, so these people wouldn't know what they were talking about. Unless they were acting, and so they were acting.
And they got, like, some really, like, I don't know how they found people that just did such a good job. I mean, so, and then it's almost like they said, hey, we're gonna be filming this movie about this topic, and we just want you to talk about it. You're gonna agree with the theory, you're gonna not agree, you know. And then
it seemed like they didn't have a script.
Like they were just saying it themselves,
kind of going off improv.
So I guess that's my positives.
Okay, so I agree with you on all of that. I do think that it did a good job of giving you that sense of, like, helplessness, where because, like, being lost in the woods, just that alone can be scary. So that is a different kind of horror, I would say. Being lost, isolated, feeling helpless, feeling like, your friend then all of a sudden goes missing, and you're supposed to be doing this documentary about this supernatural witch or, scary thing, and then some of that stuff starts happening, and you can, like, put yourself in their shoes while you're watching it. And even though not much happens, it doesn't matter, because you feel like you're there, like you can put yourself there. And even if those little things that seem like little because we're watching a movie, for most movies those would seem like little things, those are enhanced by the feeling you have of actually being there. It had good there was no music, no real loud sounds, nothing popped up on the screen, you don't ever see the witch. And so I think just the mystery of it too made it kind of good. I think that was a positive. They didn't give away too much. They kind of left you wondering. So I liked all that. I didn't think I would, because I remember watching it and feeling like it was boring, and then feeling like when I saw, like, parts of it, like, okay, nothing even happens in this movie. Like, why is it such a big deal? But I like that not much happened. It built up tension with the characters, how they were just at each other's throats toward the last half of the movie, and then you start to, like, feel bad for them because they're in this situation, especially after Josh is just missing. Then it's like, oh man, like, you kind of had, like, mixed feelings for the characters, because at times you're like, oh, she's just kind of being controlling, and then he's kind of being a jerk. But then once Josh goes missing, then it's like, oh, like, I'm rooting for them. Like, I want them to get out, This is no longer, like, an entertaining movie. Let's just get them out of the woods and find their car, and find Josh and go home. So I think it really put you in their shoes, I guess, is the bottom line there. So yeah, I mean that's a huge positive for me. So
Yeah. All right.
is anything negative you would say, or anything you wish they would have done or changed? Or?
Yeah. So my only negative, I only have one.
Okay.
Can you believe it? So
we'll see once you start talking.
I know.
Probably add 3 or 4 more.
I don't know though. My only negative on my list is I don't like the ending.
Oh,
I don't like him just staring at the wall. I don't like the. I mean, I like that we don't know what happened, the mystery of it.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like it was just really just him just standing at the wall. Like, I don't like ghost and possession movies very much.
Why he's standing there.
I'm confused at that.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. Well, so one of the guys that they were interviewing was talking about this guy who would, like, take kids and have one of them stand against the wall while he killed the other one.
Oh.
And so that's why he was standing there.
Well, darn. You might have taken my whole... Yeah, so he was told to stand against the wall. Yeah. Because then they were going to kill her.
Yeah.
Because then she falls down.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Doesn't that make it creepier?
Yeah. Yeah, so then now we know that he's next.
Yeah.
Because after that, then he went and killed the other one.
Yeah.
Because he didn't want people watching.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh. Well, now I don't really have any negatives. Because honestly, I don't feel like there's anything that I wish they would have done differently.
Okay.
I mean, I just think that it was really pretty genius to me. And it really blows me away, the acting. Yeah. It really does. I'm surprised that they had those actresses and actors haven't made it any further than what they have.
Yeah. Yeah, you would think that they would get some sort of bigger work.
Even the people being interviewed.
Yeah. Well, I
mean, those guys fishing, they were very convincing to me.
They had very small parts, though.
Yes,
you know?
But they were like, they should be cameos in all of these movies.
Yeah, in these found footage films.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have one negative, but it's kind of a negative throughout the movie. Well, 2 negatives, I guess.
Okay.
One of them, and you might be able to explain one of them. I'm just wondering. So one of them is some of it's drawn out. So while I think it's necessary for some of the parts to be drawn out because they're showing that, you know, they're trying to find their way back and they just keep getting lost and lost and lost. But some of it, that's where it got boring for me, especially the first time I watched it. And then this time, it's like, it's kind of redundant. It was like day after day before anything really happens. And then also, when they start to hear something at night, then I feel like those parts are a little drawn out too. It's like, you hear it like 3 or 4 times, and then it's just darkness. Like, you don't see anything. And then it's the next day. And so while nothing happens, I feel like just being able to see something, like, you know, would have been better. Just being able to, like, see them walk out of the tent and try to look.
Well, they did show some.
They didn't do that until, like, toward the end, though. Most of it,
I think
the other times they were, like, in the tent.
Well,
and it was like, I hear something, and then you hear it, but then, like, they don't really get out of the tent until maybe the last couple of times that they start hearing things. But
they got out more than that.
I don't know. Maybe they did, but it was just so dark that you couldn't tell what was happening. You couldn't.
But that's what made it so real. Yeah. Because it's like, because a lot of times when I watch these movies, I'm like, really? That's the movie you're gonna make? That's what you're gonna do? Yeah. Or this is not realistic. Like, no, you wouldn't have a camera right now, or you wouldn't be doing this, or just different things that you see. You're just like, really?
Yeah.
And this is supposed to be believable, you know? And so that's why this was so believable. Would you really get out the tent your first time hearing it?
I don't know. Probably not.
Probably not. You'd sit in there and be like, oh my gosh. what's happening.
Yeah.
Well, you want to have it on film because you want to be able to recall back.
Right.
But you don't want to get out of the tent and really see.
Yeah.
And then they
so
were
it makes
arguing with
sense.
each other with like, dude, it was a deer. Like, calm down. And so if they're thinking it's just a deer, they're like, go back to sleep. Like, no, I'm not going out the tent with it right now.
Yeah.
And they're sleeping.
Yeah.
You know, and then she isn't going to go by herself.
Right.
So, I think
No,
that
it makes sense. I'm not
added
saying it doesn't
value.
make sense, but I think as far as a viewer watching it, it got to be like, okay, if nothing's going to happen, let's move on.
Yeah.
You know? And because it was obviously edited, like if it's supposed to be like found footage, it was obviously edited because there's cuts and, you know, jumps and stuff like that. And so that leads to my other potentially negative is they were going back and forth with different cameras. So this must be different tapes.
Yeah.
That then they put together as one film.
Yeah.
Is what I guess. It's not just a running tape of one of the cameras.
Yeah, you can tell when it's the other camera because it's black and white.
It's black and white, yeah. And I guess they never portrayed it as if it were just one tape.
Yeah, they never said they were just
running
slipping
through.
it in.
Yeah,
They
that's true. Like
they
some of the other
put the
movies.
found footage together.
Yeah.
So even the cutting and everything, that makes sense because they put it together. They put on there what they felt was important for us to see.
Right.
And the one area that I think I can agree that was drawn out was when they found the like people made out of sticks hanging.
Yeah.
You know, that was like very drawn out.
Yeah, that did get a little long.
Because they found them and then they were like, okay, we're done. And then she found more. And so then she's like, wait. Okay, I'm coming. I'm walking away. And she kept filming.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, also is also real, you know?
It was
like,
her character,
yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it was like, wait, no, this is good.
I think sometimes in horror movies, the daytime scenes, if they're done right, can be scarier than the nighttime scenes.
Yeah.
I think because it adds a realism to it.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, seeing that stuff, like, I could picture myself there. You know, and I was wondering, like, how would I react to that? You know?
Yeah.
Would that be scary or would it be kind of cool? You know?
Yeah. Well, I think she was in that boat of she was like kind of freaked out, but also like, whoa, this is so cool. This is going to add to my film.
Right.
And I think that's why she filmed it for so long,
Yeah.
which is what I was telling you when we were watching it was I think that she's going to add voiceover to that.
Yes.
Is why she was making it so long. I mean, I think that I never sat through the movie feeling scared.
Yeah.
I never felt
I was
scared.
uneasy toward the end.
Yeah.
And maybe because I knew that it was coming to an end, so I was like kind of anticipating what was going to happen. But I don't know. It felt like, not scared, but just uneasy. Like,
yeah.
I guess the edge of your seat thing that people say.
Yeah.
Maybe that, maybe that feeling. So yeah, I think it was really good. But yeah, some of it could have been cut out, I think.
Yeah.
Some of the stuff was a little long. But besides that, that's really my only negative.
It's kind of crazy, huh?
What?
That we have like so little negatives.
Oh, yeah. Well, I would say probably 45 minutes in, I was like, okay, this is what I thought it was going to be, and I'm not too impressed.
Oh, okay.
But then the last like
not
45 minutes or so, I was like, okay, I see where it's going, and I see why it needed all that other stuff.
Okay.
So I was, because like 45 minutes in, I'm like, okay, is this going to be like the whole movie? And then the end is how it's going to end, like I know.
Yeah.
And then, then I'm just going to be like, okay, well, it was lame like I thought.
Yeah.
But there was more to it than just that.
Yeah.
There were some build-up, that feeling of being lost, I think, was really good. I think they did a good job portraying that.
Well, and how like frustrated they were getting at each other,
Yeah.
and then like almost delirious at some point.
Yeah.
It was like, all right.
It was believable.
Yeah, sometimes I didn't feel like they were hungry enough.
No, yeah.
I mean, he ate a leaf, but like...
Yeah. And every night, well, not every night, but a couple of the nights they were talking about what they wanted to eat.
Yeah, but it's like, they never seemed upset enough about her. But you did mention while we were watching it that, man, they don't really feel like walking anymore.
Yeah.
Very much. And I think because they were so tired and just like starving.
Yeah. Yeah, and they were just kind of like giving up. Mm-hmm. It seemed like they were getting closer to just accepting their fate.
Which is nice. It's just, that's what it's going to be.
That's what you've been waiting for.
Yeah.
In these movies.
This is my kind of movie.
Okay, so let's talk about grades.
I'm going to give it a 90%.
Whoa, that high.
Yeah, because
Man.
it's exactly what I'm looking for.
A-. Mm-hmm. Wow. Okay, I'm not going to give it that high. I'm going to go with an 84.
Okay.
A good B.
Okay.
Yeah.
What could have gotten it to an A?
Just more entertainment, I guess. I wouldn't really watch it again. Maybe I would, like, years from now, but not really. It's kind of a one-time watch, I think. Whereas other movies have more entertainment value, so you would watch it, more than once. Maybe a twist in the story or, something like that. So because of that, I'm not going to give it a super, super high grade.
Okay.
But, I mean, for what it was pretty much a perfect movie.
Yeah.
For what it was.
Yeah.
So.
All right.
Okay. So.
Sounds good.
This has been Scare Talk.
Sleep tight.
Don't let the Blair Witch bite.